So first, let's introduce ourselves.
Like, yeah, dude.
Right, we'll start.
All right, my name's Hyde. The Hyde Berries. I'm 19. I just started here 6 months ago.
Okay. And over here.
I'm Brody. I just started here about about 3.5 months ago, apprentice.
Okay, cool. So Hyde, talk to me a little bit about then your history and high school, middle school, whatever your family history in the trades. Why did you end up where you're at now?
Yeah, my dad's a carpenter, and kind of growing up, seeing the things that he's done, he showed me a lot of work, and I've always been very interested in just doing trade in general. In high school, I actually wanted to be a mechanical engineer.
Okay.
Until my senior year, my cousin who worked in this company as well was like, "Hey, come with me to do a little electrical side job that I had." I was like, "You know what? Whatever. I went out and I fell in love. It was amazing."
Okay.
Right after high school, I decided to apply and try to get in here.
And where would you go to high school?
I went to high school, Durfee High School in Fall River.
Okay.
And right after that, I was just, I want to do it. I want to get it done as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I applied, and it took a couple months, but I ended up making it in.
Right, nice. Who did you meet with?
I met with
Chris Martell and
Martell.
Had your interview?
Yep.
Had a few hours. Got your job offer, which I'm sure you're excited to see.
I was super excited.
Yeah. And we'll touch on the mechanical engineering. I want to talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But Energy Electric, what's your journey been to get to this point?
Well, I grew up in Fall River. I went to high school at Durfee High School in Fall River, and in the beginning, when I started high school, I wanted to be a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
I was really set on it. And then senior year came along, and my cousin, who works at this company as well.
Yeah, what's your cousin's name?
Christian Dragon.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I didn't connect the dots there, sorry. Yeah, I got it now.
He was like, "Hey, I'll take you on a little side job with me." I was like, "All right, cool, yeah, we'll do that." Fell in love. I loved it immediately. And right after high school, I was set. I applied here. I emailed Chris a bunch, Chris Martell a bunch. I finally landed an interview with Chris. Hounded.
That's interesting.
Absolutely hounded him. I will say I sent an email every morning. I
do remember that
for
now.
2 weeks.
I do remember that. Yeah. And that's maybe first tip for any budding apprentice that can't get into a particular company, right? It's always, I find, very interesting when people just show an unbelievable resilience to just even get the job.
Yeah.
Very rarely when they start their position is there ever a problem with those individuals after the fact, because they pushed, got in the door, and there's always the anomalies, but I think it's a good sign that, because we get it all the time. We get, applications coming in here one time, never see them again.
Yep.
Right? No, didn't get the job, back and tell.
Yep.
I mean, Daddy, I didn't get the job. Yeah, I applied, but no, right? But what is it? What did you email? 10 times? 10 weeks? What's the return on investment of doing that to get a job anywhere? Forget about the trades, but in particular here, that's how you differentiate yourself from the pack. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
But Roy, talk to me a little bit about your story and how you ended up there.
So I grew up near Oxford, Mass. Went to Shepherd Hill Regional High School for a while. I didn't really go there for any particular reason. Okay. Sports, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Right out of high school, I actually started working with the Walk 3. In Boston for a bit. Cool. I liked it there a little bit, but I think it didn't click with me for some reason. So went back in, found a job as mechanic, automotive. Did that for about 3 years. It really wasn't clicking with me either.
Right.
I mean, I felt my timing wasn't where I wanted to be.
How many years did you say?
About 3 years.
Okay, so
automotive technician.
Yeah. Was that in Volkswagen?
Yeah.
What is that? Where was that?
Auburn.
Okay.
And then over by Worcester.
Right.
And just didn't really click with me. I enjoyed the job. It's just the plant surroundings wasn't clicking with me.
Okay.
And then job there finally was like, "Hey, I'm working for right now. I'm loving it here."
Yeah.
Well, I have to put this word in for you. So I put in my application. I talked with Stupecki. Had to push a little bit. Trying to figure out what's going on.
Yes.
But finally got the interview, got the job offer, and I was super excited.
Yeah.
It's great because I come from a long line of electricians.
Okay. I think it's important that you guys talk to me about where you're seeing holes or where we're doing things around here. It's not just tell us how great we are. We're putting out. I've said that about the YouTube channel, and the work we're doing with this is to be real, right? Where an apprentice might sit there and go, "You know what? I'm a bit frustrated that I don't get to see this. I don't even know how a foreman operates in this company. I'd like to see that. And that gives me something to work with." But is there anything, I suppose, in the last 3 months you've seen the trades outside of the 3 months you've been aware of it, in your family, but if either of you, maybe Hyde, you can start, like, see anything in the last few months that are, I don't know, I prefer it to be different, in any respect with energy?
Off the top of my head, not really.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't think it's one of the questions.
Off the top of my head, not really. I do enjoy the way that, at least in the shop, that I've seen that it's run. Having the quality control, I think it's great.
You, like, in your mind, I want to go to a job tomorrow. Is that in your kind of head?
I would love to. I've been thinking that for a little bit.
Okay.
I do like it here in the shop. Nothing against the shop at all, but I would love to see how it is on the job site. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Is I would love to get that experience on how it actually is out in the field. A building that's deconstructed, that's just putting everything up. I would love to see that.
Right. Same for you, Brody?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love to see how it all works.
Yeah. It's good. We have you kind of by the reins. It's like a good horse that sees the last furlong, right? We just have you right here, and then we're going to let you go. But just even from our perspective, right, from an ownership to management level, Chris Martell, Chris Kopecki, there's guys there who are kind of a little bit sometimes worried about the timing, right? And everyone's different, right? Some people need longer, some people need shorter. It depends on the individual. What we don't like is someone out on the job site inside of a couple of weeks, right? But there's some people, hey, I've been working at this for a long time. You want to come see them in their basic fundamentals of working in a job like this to see first, then to get them out. And then there's guys like yourselves that, absolutely, you guys could go out to a job site and excel straight away. But there's an element of kind of putting that on a pedestal, and that's your target, right? That's the carrot on the end of the stick, and you go for it. Because it is. They have meetings all the time. And when can we get people out? When can we get? She's in there too long. He's in there too long. Not long enough. It's just it's kind of a balancing act, right?
Yeah.
But and they won't thank me for this. Be the squeaky wheel a little bit too. When am I going? And then you get a job about an hour and 10 minutes from here, you'll be like, why did I open my mouth? Right. So there's a balancing act to that. But that is the challenge of, I would say, the prefabrication shop when we started it, is people been in there too long, not long enough. But the one thing I would say is that has been huge with it is when you get to the job site, you're just an asset straight away. That's the biggest thing, right? That you're an asset to that foreman and the crew straight away. And you earn your stripes, right? It's like anything. You go to a soccer team, you go to a baseball team, you want to be respected by your peers, right? You want to get there and earn your stripes straight away and feel good about what you're doing, and that's what we're setting you up for in here. And that's the timing part, right? It's almost you want straining at the leash to get going versus being tossed out there and looking around going, I don't know if I should be here. This is, and I've had enough of that in my career. Don't trust me, it's not a nice feeling. But it's cool that you're thinking that way. But for you, Brody, anything you kind of maybe frustrated the last 3 months or something that you're seeing?
Honestly, it's been an amazing, smooth 3 months.
Cool.
I come in here and nice early in the morning. Get myself coffee.
Right.
So a little, pre-work meeting. We just get going. It's cool. There's something always constantly to do here. And it's just been amazing so far.
Cool. What is the pre-work meeting? Talk to me about that. What's discussed?
So we just kind of go over who's assigned to what. Say if some people have to do racking today, or me and a couple other guys are doing undergrad skids today. And it kind of just sets up what's planned for today. And do a little stretch. And loose, get ready to go.
Stretch, T?
Yep.
That's what Sam does that all the time. That is impressive. I like it.
It's actually great because it feels good to see everything kind of loose and ready to go in the morning.
You never think about simple stuff like that. How many times you just end up reaching for something that you didn't think you'd reach for, a little awkward twinge something that can just become something in our trade, right? That never, like a shoulder or an elbow. Talk to some of the electricians we have here. They do a little bit of damage, something, and then they never really treated right, or never stretched, never worn down, and then bang, right? It's a problem for life. It can end up being that way. But what's your feeling, I suppose, long term? Because I said to you before, I'd love to be able to do something if we could make it happen that we'll talk maybe in second year, talk in third year, talk in fourth year, right? And then when you get your license, we have another sit down and we chat. But like that's 4 years from now, so think about that, right? You're 19, you'll be 23. What's your confidence level with the trades? Because there are some industries out there now looking at AI going, I shouldn't have spent X amount on a degree. Now look what they're going to do. They're going to come take my job. And I don't really buy into a lot of that. I saw an interesting analogy yesterday that people were saying truckers, when Tesla had a new truck that came out, right? And everyone's saying, here he goes, automated driving, full automated driving, don't need truckers anymore. And the guy on the podcast I was listening to made the point that people started to talk about that with planes too. Planes essentially fly themselves, right? But there's a pilot sitting behind the stick, right? So it's quite the opposite. And even someone said also too about working in working in radiation in hospitals, right? Everyone said a lot of the AI now is going to look at a lot of those X-rays, look at a lot of those pictures, and pick out the problems. But what has ended up happening, they need more radiographers than they ever did because they're doing a lot more scans than they ever did. They're curing a lot more people than they ever did, so they can't get enough radiographers into hospitals. So it's almost like an interesting kind of a concept that it allows more work to get done, and it also increases the need for people to monitor that work happening, right? But what's your sense on, do you feel confident about the trades you're in? Let's maybe start with you, Hyde. Are you confident where you're at and happy with your decision? But what do you think that 5 and 10 year, have you thought about that, what it looks like for your industry? And because in some ways we're coming more and more like tech industries, like the stuff is coming there for that kind of thing. But what's your sense on it for yourself?
I honestly I feel pretty confident that at least our industry as electricians, we're still going to have a lot of work for the next 5, 10, 20 years. I don't personally really see AI or robots or anything else taking over the job. That this building still needs everything to get ran and electricity go everywhere. Because if this building is going to use AI, how is this building going to use AI if there's no electricity?
Right, for sure. And this is one of the weird science fiction stuff that I look at, right? I feel like that wall could be 40 electrician robots up there, right? And what's the biggest problem in the electrical construction industry right now? It's labor, right? If you had 40 robots, maybe in 2050, that are up there charging, right? We don't necessarily need them right now, but there's some job coming up where we do need them. And they can go out and run 2-inch pipe down the center of a hallway on a multifamily building, exactly, because they have all the drawings, all the different points picked and trimmed, whatever it is, and then you can utilize them, right? That's just some of the space cadet stuff that I think about, right? That can help us. But I feel like that's our industry. I think that's because that's some of the problem we have as licensed electricians. I see it all the time. We don't have enough work for the 164 electricians we have at Energy Electric this morning. What can happen in the past, not so much now, but as soon as you lay off 10-15% because you have less work coming, well then what ends up happening is they'll go and start interviewing and start sending a resume because they don't want to be out of work, right? So then you lose them, you call them back, hey, we got a bunch of work, when I come back, I took this job at this other good company, can't jump around, right? So that idea of being able to have a bench, which is kind of like the union workflow, but it's not as easy as it sounds, right? Did you have 100 electricians that you can just pull on and off the bench whenever you need them? There's politics around that too, that it's interesting. But for our world, we have to keep our people busy, right? And we utilize partnerships with other electrical contractors that we trust and have partnerships with. So I don't see any issue with it at all. I would agree with you. I think I don't know what your sense on it is, Brody. You kind of think along the same lines, or but even what the industry is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. What do you feel that looks like?
In 5 to 10 years, like personally, I think I'm a very much big disbeliever of AI.
Okay.
It's not as cracked up as it seems, especially right now. I know how fast technology can progress, but it isn't. And even in at least in our generation, I don't think it's ever going to remotely come close to taking our jobs or even replacing it.
I wouldn't disagree.
For technology and stuff like that, though, like tools, the way we do underground skids, how we have, or even the cuts for the underground skids. We have a program that shows us exactly, we put in the data, and it shows us how many cuts we need, and exactly, length of the piece and everything. It's great. And 5, 10, 20 years, like, this technology is going to continue to improve, and it'll make our job easier for ones, and it's just gets things done faster. It
does. I think it's always going to be an asset that's in parallel to the work you guys do. And I think the piece too is the industry is getting, as you said, more and more electrified. Electrification of everything is begun. It's ongoing. It's just, I think that when you start to increase labor, when you start to increase speed, when you start to, like, all of these things lead into just leadership and all of the human skills that we try to teach on top of the trade, right? And that's our school starting in September. Is you guys booked in for that school, or you both are? Fantastic. And that's something we really want to push on. Initially, we're starting out make sure that core curriculum that the state of Rhode Island, Massachusetts, these states require us to do. But the other piece of it is financial 101, wellness 101, English 101, writing emails and stuff like that. That I think sometimes, are not done in the right way in potentially, in schools, in some third level education options, because we're blue collar workers, right? We don't care about meditation. We don't care about looking after each other. We don't care about a resting heart rate. No one knows about that. We're going to get the pay rise when we get an electrician. I'll go straight out and get my F-250. It's going to be phenomenal. I'll get myself a nice little muscle car. Right, these are mistakes that apprentices make, right? That I've seen, and it's something that I hear it with sometimes all the time. It's like I want to start teaching electricians about what a dollar is, how it works, and making it work for yourself, so that you don't have to work and break your back till you're 62 years old.
Absolutely,
right? That you could even look at a career at 52 and I'm done. I got put in 20 odd years into this, 25 years, 30 years into this trade. I'm out. Got a great 401k. Going to do this thing over here on the side that I see with a couple of friends. We're going to flip a few houses. I'll do the electrical, whatever, right? I think that's the kind of options and the smartness that more and more apprentices should be thinking about now. It's not when you get your $40 an hour and $45 an hour, then you say, well, I'm just going to go now for a bigger truck and I'm going to get the fifth wheeler and I'm going to have that vacation. Let's buy that second little cottage up in that's great if you can afford it, right? But you just need to understand what that means, right? What are irreversible financial decisions versus reversible financial? This is the stuff we want to talk about and educate people on. Real world stuff, real world examples all the time. I always talk about that, just real world stuff all the time, so that you guys can, walk out into the world and understand. You don't need $150,000 a year to live a good life. No, you just don't, right? It'd be great if you had $150,000 a year and you're happy, right? But I've seen plenty of people working at 60, 70, 80, but perfectly happy too. Good news for electricians, they're not going to be on any less than six figures probably in the next few years. It's heading that way. That's not going to be stopped, right? And I'm all for it, right? I think that's the respect that apprentices should get. But I think, do you feel that you're equipped right now, that kind of stuff, like wellness, are you interested in that kind of stuff? Do you think about that, in relation to your own, you talk about, your own pastimes and what you do. Do you feel that's important? Like I said, wellness, financial, writing emails, understanding how to lead, have conversations. Does that all, let's start here with you, Hyde. Would you agree?
Oh, I would definitely agree. I think that I agree with you that it's definitely something that's underlooked a lot, especially I just got out of high school. It's definitely underlooked in high school. I would think that depending on what you're doing in college, it's also definitely underlooked, and in trade, it's very underlooked.
Yeah, because it's like we want to get into, that's one of the things, middle school. I literally wish we had the middle school career fair talking about the cool things to do with the electrical trade, right? Because it's very easy to sit there and have maybe some talking about political or business or sports, right? They'll have their awareness of that through, but like to understand what the option is here, and there's no point talking to a 12 or 14-year-old. I have one myself that about financial 101. They're like, I don't know, my dad just gave it. It's like that's not what I'm talking about. It's just that intrigue. Trying to build that intrigue. And to your point, like I just definitely feel that attitude needs to change, and it is changing, but it's not changing quick enough towards electricians, towards carpenters, tin knockers, mechanical, whatever it is, right? I want that attitude to change, because they need to look after themselves even more than the person that's in an office, right? And that's a big thing too. And I've tried to kind of lead a bit of example myself with some of the stuff I'm doing. That allows us to be able to take care of ourselves. As a company, it's very important that we preach that message. You're lucky, right? You're in the trades. You've started your first few months. 2 questions. I'll start with the first one, the easy one. Anyone who's maybe 16, 17 years old right now, let's start with you, Hyde, that is looking at the electrical trades and going, I don't know, how would you convince that person that this is the way to go?
Try it. Just give it a shot. There's always something. I know there's a school in Seekonk that will do a 7-month program. It's just 7-month full-time of electrical work training. Christian ended up going to that school and doing that program. Just give it a shot, because you never know. You might love it, you might not like it, and then you can move on to something else. Especially being young, you have all the time. That's something that I'm even still trying to learn. Being 19 was like, you have all the time, because I could do this for 4 years and realize I hate it, and then maybe I'll have opportunity to do something else.
Right. That's when I started my apprenticeship at 22. So I was like, you're 3 years ahead of me. There you go. What would you say?
I totally agree with every point that I had made. Honestly, like it's worth just giving it a shot. If you have no other plan, like kind of lost, you just put your foot in the door, give it a shot. Especially at that age. I mean, you have so much time ahead of you. I mean, I'm 23 and I just started. I'm not even late to the party at all.
Not at all. Yeah.
It's worth going. Just giving it a shot.
I couldn't agree more. It's like you both said it so well, and I'm impressed because it was the way I entered the trade. It was my dad pushed me. You know, you've got to get some piece of paper, Steve. You're assing around here. You know, you're not getting anything. What are you doing? And you said something there that really struck me. You know, if you're lost, like it's and to your point then too, Hyde. It's like it's not something that's going to cost you a whole pile of money just because of your time, and your time is cheap at 19, at 23 or at 25 and 28. As long as you don't have any massive responsibilities with mortgages and children and marriages, right? Who knows, right? That can be a problem, right? But even then, people make it work.
Definitely.
I just feel like the trades, even to the hard work elements, I would, people would watch this laughing who've worked with me at 21, 22. Yeah, that's the laziest young lad I ever came across, right? There was probably some of that attitude towards me, but I was even subconsciously getting some graft into me, turning up, getting out of bed early, the alarm went, getting into the car, getting onto a job site, making sure I got through the 8 hours without pissing someone off, right? And then getting back home, right? And then to the point where I realised, well, I got to convince that guy who's leading that job site to make sure that he wants me back next week. Probably should up my game a little bit early up because I like those guys. That job site, I like that work. Actually, that day kind of flew. It's just that little approach to it. And you're right, if you're lost, or if because I was not mechanically, my wife laughs at me even now. There's a lock broken the door back home. I twice tried to fix it now. It's one of those like where you put in the code. Can't get stuff to line up. You think the batteries then I finally got it fixed. Then I couldn't get the lid on because it was hitting it like an idiot. Like, and I was just like, this is a whole project. And this the guy running an electrical industry. But like I was not naturally gifted with my hands. Like you obviously probably are with the mechanical stuff, and like some people are. Probably I don't work on my hands at all. I'm telling you, that's not what the trades are about. The trades a lot of the time is about that logical thinking that you need in any career to work through it. But what you're doing is you're able to get out with the job site, you're able to see the world, meet new people, get the job satisfaction side of it, and that's a big piece. I would 100% agree that if you're lost right now, or if you're feeling like I don't know what I'm going to do, try the trades. I just even electrical for sure, but try something out there. Any kind of apprenticeship you can get into to get, because I can tell you there's stuff that I've learned in the apprenticeship that to this day up in the office I still use. Right. That stands me, on a daily basis that you never would think. And there's stuff pops in my head I can't believe that's still relevant now, right? And even I have a little thing that I bought this morning off of, I was trying to put some stuff in my office, and I bought it off of eBay. I bought like wire tube, the knobs for carrying knob and tube wire. Because I remember when I came to Boston in particular, I worked in Dorchester on housing that was not in great shape, and we were rewiring knob and tube houses. It is the worst electrical work you can do, because you're up in horsehair plaster, you're snaking cables, you can't take down the plaster. It's August, you're in the attic trying to snake cables up into this blow-in insulation with rat poop everywhere. And I bought them, and I want to put them on because I want to remember the perspective of like that's what the work you had to do one day to get to here, right? And it stands to me every day when I see it. I'll be able to go, we're very lucky with what I'm doing here right now. This is a very, very privileged place to be. And I think any electrician will tell you that story, a job that they just that was just hell, or a company they worked for and just did not work for them. But I like that. That was a great answer to that question for me. But so guys, thanks very much for sitting and chatting with me. I hope it brought some value to anyone watching. Again, this is Hyde and Brody, new first year apprentices here at Energy Electric. Very cool kind of, I suppose, time stamp, right, that we're going to be able to make well into the back and bury it in we'll get it recorded from Justin, and we'll bury it a few feet down. There you go. That's a time capsule. That's what I'm trying to think of. And we'll come back and we'll talk about it again. You can laugh at yourselves or go, holy moly, I had a few things going on there, but I appreciate taking the time. Thanks very much, guys, for doing that. All right.
Thank you very much.